Hello and welcome to another Uniko video with me, Bev, the owner and designer of all things Uniko. So this month on the blog I have been looking at the top 25 products of 2025. Now these have been determined by sales on the website, and sales at shows go through the website as well. The system is the same, so it's all determined by sales, and we're at number 10, so we're at the top 10 countdown now, and today is Bauhaus Blocks. This is such a fun set. I'm rather partial to it. Those who know me know I love the mid-century modern and all that sort of era. So I am delighted to be inking up this stamp set again, and I have a couple of ideas to share with you using this stamp set. So I thought I would do a proper video rather than a short. So it's just some simple ideas today. We'll start off with this one. So I cut a piece of cardstock, which is, I believe, 8.5 by 12 centimeters, and I'm just gonna do some simple stamping and then some colouring. But this is such a fun set to use for masculine cards, but it can be feminized quite easily by switching up your colours or adding a floral to it. Various things you can do. So I will be using all 5 of these blocks today, but I'm going to start off with these 2 and just sort of like play around with a sort of fun layout. So I often go to Pinterest for inspiration, and I have lots of books as well from when I was doing my design course. So I have a lot of books, and I look for sort of like layouts and inspiration from sort of posters from the era and things like that. So I'm going to sort of stamp these on an angle, and I'm just sort of playing about today. And of course I haven't brought my cloth, so I shall be careful because I don't know where my cloth is. Actually, I will run and nab it in a second because my brain has remembered where it is. So I do apologise in a second for this short interlude of while I run and get my cloth. So I'm just eyeballing it here. You could be a little bit more precise if you wanted to be, but sometimes it's just as good to eyeball. So 2 seconds while I run and get this cloth. There we go. There's always something you forget, isn't there? I can be as prepared as anybody, and then there's always something that I forget, but I knew there was one, a clean one in the bathroom. So I have these microfiber cloths, and I'm getting into the habit of cleaning as I go, so I don't end up with a pile of stamps that then need cleaning at an end of a session or end of a week. So I'm going to do all the stamping, then I'll lift it off, and then I'll clean my glass board. So then I'm going to use some of the other ones, the other squares I should say. I'm all of a fluster now. So I did sort of like sketch out a little rough idea of what I wanted to do today. Again, if I don't write things down. I forget easily. So I'm sort of like mirroring it here on the opposite corner. But I might add an extra one, we'll see. Just to give, I like to do things in odd numbers. I just find it eye appealing to the eye. I'm just using VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink here. I've selected some Stampin' Up blends to colour with once I've done the stamping. What I might do, because I do like to give it time to dry a little bit and the ink to sort of seep into the cardstock before I start adding colour. So I will set this aside and we'll stamp out some of the other blocks for the other card. I perhaps should have started with that, but never mind. So I'm trying to get the gap the same. Now I could go in and fill the top half there. Just to even it off, which I think I might do now I've just cleaned that stamp. So I like things in threes or odd numbers. So we're going for threes here. Like so. And I've dipped down a little bit there, but hopefully it won't be too noticeable. I'm learning to embrace sort of these imperfections a little bit. Normally in the past I would have gone back and changed it or redone it if I wasn't 100% happy. Now this adhesive I use to hold my cardstock in place really does stick to the glass board really well. So I was just using the scissors there just to lift it up so I didn't like bend the cardstock. And the beauty of this, I can wipe my glass board. And I've kept my cloth a little bit dry in places so I can sort of dry off the glass board as well. So then my second card idea is literally, I'm going to stamp out all 5 of the blocks and we're going to cut them out and arrange them. So I'm going to go ahead and just stamp all 5 and let them dry as well. So it's good to make 2 cards when it comes to colouring. So these are going to be just 2 really simple ideas of how to use this stamp set. And you could really have some fun with this set, like pairing it with stencils or other mid-century images, creating fun backgrounds and then stamping over the top, you know, backgrounds to different techniques, you know, applying colour. You could even use your sort of jelly print to create your backgrounds and then use the stamps over the top. So many different things you can do with this set, but I definitely think it is one of those sets that if you had it, you'll use it all the time for masculine cards. I mean, my husband and my father-in-law, they have their hobbies. But if you buy a set that's maybe dedicated to football or fishing, that's all you can do with it. It's fishing and it's football, and yeah, they're good on hand, but this one you can really play around, get creative, and I don't think you can go wrong with geometrics, in my opinion. You never know, you might see me designing some football or fishing themed stuff in the future. I don't know. You know me, I have my particular style and I just roll with it. So I'm just stamping these because I am going to cut them out and we'll have a little border. And these are quite easy to cut out as well because they are straight edges. But the squares themselves, the stamps, are 4 centimeters by 4 centimeters square. So you could possibly find a die, square die. There's lots on the market that would cut. You could die cut them out. So maybe a 4.5 centimeter square, or even a 5 centimeter. I'm sure I have made a card in the past where I have created a die cut window and stamped inside, so I know, and it obviously left a little bit of a border, but you know, if you weren't hot on your fussy cutting, obviously it's a square, and there's lots of square dies on the market. So we're going to set that aside, and I'm going to bring my other one back in, and hopefully the ink is dry enough now that we can start adding some colour. So I chose these are the Stampin' Up blends. I get them obviously online, but I have a demonstrator. My demonstrator is Ruth. Ruth Gets Crafty. I follow her on Instagram and she is lovely. I've been following her advent Christmas advent, so Stampin' Up brought out a Christmas advent and I have been following that. I'm going to choose the lighter shades of, so the colours I've got here are light summer splash, light pumpkin pie, and light lovely lipstick. So I've gone sort of, obviously I've added orange and pink in, but men can still like pink, and I'm just going to randomly colour. I'm not going to colour every shape. I'm just going to select a few just randomly to add the colour. I often think this is the best way, being random, you know, not really thinking about it, just going in and adding your colour. So these are very similar to Copic markers in that they're alcohol based markers, and why I choose these even for flat colouring is they give a smooth finish. So you don't sort of see the lines. I do use water-based markers, and I have to say I did treat myself to some of the in colours recently from Stampin' Up. And they've changed the markers slightly. So I do use water-based, but then it's fun. I suppose you get used to using a particular style of marker. And obviously I do have a few Copics as well. And I do reach for those. It depends what colours I'm looking for or wanting to use. I mean, I used to buy a lot of Stampin' Up card, and I stopped a little bit. It was when they did all the sort of colour refresh and things, and I think I got a little bit tired of reorganising my cardstocks. And my cardstocks, apart from the Concord and Ninth, they were a little bit of a hodgepodge, unorganised mess. So that is on my list to sort out over Christmas. You know, in that gap where you don't really know what to do with yourself in between Christmas and New Year. I try to think of things, jobs that I can do. I've got a million jobs to do. Like a lot of people, they're forever stacking up. But yeah, so that's my little take on Stampin' Blends. Now, I have heard that they're getting rid of, I did hear a rumour that they're possibly getting rid of the water-based markers. That'll be a shame though, because I do use them. So as you can see, I'm just working my way through adding some colour. And what's nice about these blends is, so they have this sort of like hard tip, but then they have this brush tip as well. Sometimes I use the hard tip, sometimes I use the brush. It depends, personal preference, isn't it? And some of my markers are quite old now that there might be, the brushes are starting to, they're not as fine as they used to be. Just overuse. So just adding it in some colour. Nothing too taxing, quite relaxing. You can choose your, if you knew who you were giving it to, you could choose their favourite colour. You could do sort of a monochrome, not monochrome, an ombre effect using their favourite colour. So different shades of the same colour, which is quite fun to do. I do like ombre effects. So I just chose these colours randomly today before I started doing the video. I find it hard sometimes to select colours because I like colour. So I often struggle thinking, oh, what colour shall I use today? And that's another thing, I tend to look at sort of, so I've got a board on Pinterest where when a Bauhaus image pops up or a poster or something, I'll often save it because it has different colour combinations or the layouts of the geometrics and things. Just as a source of inspiration to spark when it comes to creating a card. I'll look at it and think, oh yeah, I like that colour combo, I'll use that one today. Trying to decide. But then it's fun to leave some of these shapes white. Just adds interest. It makes it sort of less overpowering. So hands up, who's ready for Christmas? I am not ready at all. we've got most of the main stuff. I just need to get sort of like wrapping paper and bits and pieces, and obviously the food shop, which I hate doing the food shop. Anyway, so I've coloured it in a little bit, and I'm going to just place it down and stick it down again. So I believe I put my adhesive in the middle somewhere. So this set comes with 4 sentiments. You've got happy birthday, just for you, best wishes and thank you. And I'm going to make it a birthday card. I'm always in need of birthday cards, and one of my missions this year, this coming year I should say, 2026, is to send more cards. And I will be sharing something else after Christmas, before the new year, to help me achieve that. Anyway, so when I was in Kent, I treated myself to this Misti Light. I'm not sure where I put the box. So this is the Misti Light that came out recently. It's by My Sweet Petunia, and as you can see, it's very light. It's quite flimsy. You've got this sort of like the platform, which is like the original Misti, and it says clear, and then on this side it says rubber. So depending on what word you can read is the side you'd use. So you'd use this sort of, you put your stamp on this side to stamp for rubber stamps, and this side for clear stamps. Now it's quite nifty in the fact that you can move it around, and then all you do, especially on your glass magnetic boards, is use your magnets to hold it in place. You can buy bigger magnets. These are the ones that I bought from Tailored Expressions that go with the Tailored Expressions glass mat, which I'm using here. But you can use it on various surfaces, various magnetic surfaces, and obviously you get different magnets. They have some larger sort of oblong ones, and they have some tiny ones. So it's a really fun little stamping platform, and I thought it's quite useful for me to use for smaller images when I'm doing videos like this. For instance, or if I'm at a show and I want to do stamping, but I don't want to, my 2 Misties that I carry about with me are quite heavy. They do sort of weigh a little bit. So I'm just lining up my stamp here. I will link in the description where I got my Misti Light from, and the glass board. I got them from Dies to Die For, from the lovely Tracy and Andy. So I'm just lining this up, and then you just press down to pick up your stamp, apply your ink, so if you wanted to repeat stamp this, you could then move your Misti Light and then repeat stamp. So I haven't played with it a lot, but so far I've been pretty impressed with it, and it, as I say, ease of use when I'm sort of doing videos and I'm working on this glass surface, and it's nice and see-through as well. So I've just stamped my image, and all I'm going to do is add some foam tape and then adhere this to my card base. So I was talking about birthdays, wasn't I, and sending cards. Postage, it's just so expensive as well at the minute, which is a shame. But I'm hoping if I implement a system, it was actually a system my mum used to use, and I've been umming and ahhing over it for a while, and I've started to design a little printout, a freebie that you'll be able to download or request to download, and hopefully use this system if you're like me and often forget to send cards. So yeah, I'm gonna try and do better, which postage is expensive, but if you send something, so here in the UK, if you send it second class, obviously it takes a little bit longer, so you have to be a little bit more prepared in advance. So I think I looked last night, and as long as your card isn't too thick and it'll fit through the 5mm gap, it's 87p. So it is expensive compared to what it was, but it's manageable, isn't it? And obviously we don't send cards to everybody, but you'll have you think, oh, I wish I should have done that, I should have. And I've said that so much over the last few years, and it's mainly because I haven't been organised enough with a system in place. So I've got to that age where if it isn't written down, it doesn't get done. So I'm starting to realise I need to change the way I do things. So I will be sharing that between Christmas and New Year. And I've got some fun things coming as well, which I am super excited about. So I went ahead and cut some other card, and this one's 10.5 by 14 centimeters. So there should be sort of like a centimeter gap all the way around. Again, you could measure it perfectly if you wanted to, but I just tend to eyeball things, and just mounting it up just gives it a little bit more interest. So the foam adhesive I use is 1mm thick, so then when I've done my card base and got the envelope, theoretically it should still, as long as I didn't put any embellishments and things on, it will fit through as a standard letter. So that's our first card finished. And this second one, I know just feel free to fast forward me while I'm gibbering and colouring. Obviously I won't be offended, because obviously sometimes these things take a little longer, but obviously you can also craft along with me if you have these stamps. So yeah, lots of nice things planned for 2026. It's Uniko's 14th birthday in February, and as usual we will be celebrating all month long. It's going to be fun, and on the 8th of February is the Uniko stamping retreat here in the northeast. So if you fancied a weekend away in the northeast, Yarm is a lovely little town to stay, and obviously I'm doing the retreat on the Sunday 10 till 4. All the retreats are fun, but I have to say the birthday ones, I think, in my opinion, are just that little extra special. Well, they're extra special to me, I suppose. But can you believe 14 years? It's gone quick. Just I don't know about you, but time just seems to be flying by these days. I don't know whether it's because I'm slower at doing things or whether just time just seems to have sped up. I don't know, what do you think? Is time flying? Or is it going too slow for you? Or I wish time would slow down a little bit for me. My boys are growing up too quick. They're off to senior secondary school here in the UK in September next year. Just, it's unbelievable that we've got through primary school nearly. I mean, they're ready, I think, for the next challenge in some respects. So I'm looking forward to another Christmas. So I've been doing, if you've been following me on, if you follow me on Instagram, again, I will share some links in the description. They still believe this year, I'm going to switch to the brush end for this. Just when it's a larger space, the brush is a little bit easier to use. So yeah, they're still believing this year, and I've been doing Elf on the Shelf again, trying to come up with new ideas that I haven't used in previous years, which has been quite tricky. Getting there though. So yeah, the magic is still alive this Christmas, which is lovely. I think they might still probably get me to do it when they find out that it's been me that's doing it all. They might know but don't want to say. I don't know, I can't quite tell whether they know it's me or what they think, to be honest. So that's been quite a challenge for me. Not too many more days to go now. I've got a couple of easy ones going up. So every Christmas, since they were little, I've tried to do, we've chosen something to do as a family, go somewhere, like a trip, or like one year we did Beamish at Christmas. Was that last year? I see, again, if I don't look at photos, I can't remember the dates of things. My brain is just mush. So we've done Beamish, we did the Polar Express, you know, things like that. And I was struggling a bit this year. I didn't know what to book. Something we hadn't done before, like we've done Blackpool to see the illuminations, and yeah, I was just really struggling. Anyway, a friend of mine, I saw they'd posted, they went to Alnwick, which is in Northumberland, which is just north of us, and they'd gone to Alnwick Gardens Winter Lights. And I quite like Alnwick. We've been a few times. We've been a couple of times to the castle, but we haven't done the gardens before. So luckily, I was amazed, they still had some times and dates left. So we've got a little overnight family trip to Alnwick. So they break up on Friday this week, and then obviously they're off for 2 weeks. I think they go back on the 6th of January-ish, I think. And we go on the 22nd, so it's quite it's quite tight for Christmas. But I'm looking forward to it. So obviously one day the elf is going to announce that. On Christmas Eve, he always brings them new pyjamas. So I've got a few easy ones up, and I've got a few other ones up in my sleeve. that I've planned in advance, so slowly feeling festive. Usually it's in years gone by I've always been like super festive, but it's been a bit of a struggle this year to get in the Christmas mode. I mean, I got the tree up and the decorations and things, but I don't know, I just don't feel mega Christmassy. Hopefully going to see these winter lights will help get me in the Christmas mood a little bit more. So I'd love to know how prepared you are for Christmas. Are you all sorted? Have you still got stuff to do? So I'll have to go and get the fresh food and the turkey and stuff probably the day after the trip. So no doubt it'll be busy in the shops, but it's part of Christmas, isn't it? I remember as a teenager, my brother, I remember you, John, if you watch this video, he used to leave all his Christmas shopping till Christmas Eve. It just used to make me laugh. My mum used to collect things throughout the year, and she had like a cupboard where she used to keep presents in advance, you know, for people to give to people. It was like it was quite a good idea actually. She'd see something on sale and she'd think, oh, that'll do, that would, so and so would like that. So but it was quite handy because obviously as a kid you used to get invited to birthdays and things, instead of having to rush to the shops to find something, there would always be something in her present cupboard that would be suitable. So we laugh at sometimes at things our parents used to do, and when you look back at it now as an adult you think, well, it actually made sense. I can see why. So I'm starting to lean on the idea that my mum wasn't as crazy as I thought she was. So trying to work out which way is best to colour this. Hopefully I won't get any join marks. With it being an L shape, it's a little bit awkward. I went to use the brush there, but it was the brush has been a bit overused, so it wouldn't have made life quicker. So hopefully it won't create too much of a line. This is a little bit more time consuming than I thought it would be, but hopefully the result will be good. And hopefully I'm not boring you too much. As I say, you can always fast forward me. And we'll add an orange bit to this one, and then we'll get to cutting these out and assembling the second card. So it's just two really simple ideas today. So I'll share links to the blog as well. So if you've missed any of the top 25 products so far, numbers 25 to 11, I've shared them on the blog and also Instagram. I'd love to know when we get to the product number 1, how many of you have got all 25? It's funny, some of them are obviously new products that came out this year. Some are fairly new, and there's been a couple that have been out for quite a number of years and they're still really popular among customers new and older customers who thought, oh, maybe I wouldn't use that, and then they've seen more ideas using it and decided to purchase it this year. I was hoping to have had another release, but I just wasn't organised enough. So some of the products that I designed obviously will have to wait till next year. I'm looking forward to one of them, and I'm going to bring it out fairly early, I think, because I think it's a really good one for using for making gifts for people. And I'll certainly be making a few more of them type of gifts for next year. So all I'm doing here is I've got my Stampin' Up snips, and I'm just leaving a few millimeters border from the black line, and it's fairly easy to cut a straight line. And we'll just cutting them all out. I got called the Queen of Fussy Cutting this week, which was quite lovely. I do love my fussy cutting. I do find it really relaxing. My eyesight I can feel it deteriorating compared to what it was like, so I need good light to do it now. But yeah, good pair of scissors, good light, a little bit of time, and I'm happy. So we're just cutting these out, and then we're going to adhere them to our card base. Hopefully my brain has worked out the measurements properly, but we'll see. Maths was never my strong point at school, so I've cut all them out. So I went ahead and I've cut a piece of cardstock, and it's 10.5 by 15 centimeters, so it's slightly longer than I'd normally. I usually go to 14 centimeters, so I use a lot of American cardstock, and their cardstock is only 28 centimeters in length, so that's why I only go to 14 centimeters. Plus it's measurements that I can remember. 10.5 by 14. So hopefully I've got my measurements pretty on par. They're looking quite good so far. I could maybe have got away with my 14, but on the safe side I went for a slightly. I'm gonna put that one there and change that to there, balance it out a bit. So I'm just placing them first, and then I'm going to use some foam tape to adhere them. So I'm roughly just getting the layout and the spacing how I want it before I go ahead and stick anything down permanently. So again, as you can see, it's a really simple layout of just placing these blocks, and obviously you could just stamp direct if you wanted to, but I do like a little bit of dimension. I find it difficult sometimes without measuring everything out completely, and you know, sort of using pencil lines and things to stamp. If I was to stamp this, I probably wouldn't get it right first time. There's no guarantee that I'll get it right doing it this way, but the likelihood is, the percentage is higher, the odds are higher. I'm going to put it up this way. You know, when you have certain sort of images and geometrics and things, and there's always a certain way that I tend to use them or place them, an orientation. And I forget about changing orientations sometimes because I see it how I've designed it. And it's not until I see someone else using it and they've done it in a different orientation, I think, oh yeah, I didn't think of doing it like that. I can be quite blinkered sometimes, I guess, because I've designed it and I think, oh, I should use it this way. So that's why I enjoy seeing what everyone's made. So don't forget, you can tag me on social media if you've used my products. If you tag me, I will see it, and I'd love to see it, and I love to comment. Because everyone sees things a little bit differently. Even if you were literally just to case my card, I still love to see it. Because I love seeing people enjoy my products. So a lady said, oh, is it all right for me to share? I've recreated your card. And I was like, yeah, that's absolutely perfect. I love it. You know, it warms my heart that someone has been inspired and likes what I share to want to recreate it. And it's how I started years and years ago, recreating something that I'd seen in a magazine, back before the days of social media. Makes me sound really old, because I am really old. Back before, my boys still don't believe that we didn't have phones and the internet and social media and all the things. It's hard for them to grasp how we coped without it. But the beauty of it is we can reach more people now without having to travel as far. So yes, hopefully I'll be bringing more stuff in 2026 and new things to more people further afield. I've had quite a lot of requests from people to do things, so I am in the process of working on stuff. Obviously, it is just me behind the scenes here at Uniko. My husband helps with bits and pieces, but obviously he works full time. So it is just me here in the studio, designing the products, packaging, packing orders, answering emails. I don't have a team here in the studio with me. It is just me. So that's why things sometimes can take me a little bit longer. So I do apologise. And again, I'm just trying to survive the current climate of cost of living. People say we're coming out of it, but in my opinion it doesn't feel much easier. People are still budgeting and food just seems to be going up in price constantly every time I go, every week. So yeah, we're all just trying to ride this storm out, and like all the other storms that I've got through over the last 13 years, I'll get through this one as well. I'm not going anywhere, but things might just take me a little bit longer than I'd like. So maybe my spacing isn't perfect here, but it still looks pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with that. And looking at it, I think I could have got away with doing the 14 centimetre length. But hey ho, we've done the 15 now. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back just to hold my card in place. And then I'm going to add one of the other sentiments, and I'll use the Misti Light again. We'll see how it copes with there being a little bit of dimension to this card. So I've definitely got it on the right way using clear stamps, and I'm just going to hold it down with my magnets. I might have to press a little bit harder, we'll see. So this time we will use thank you. Always in need of thank you cards. And I'm just trying to centralize it here, like so. So in line with that sort of middle section. Obviously I have lots of different sentiments in the mid-century collection, but I thought I would just use this one set today. There we go, that did work quite well. I did obviously press a little bit harder, but that I'm quite pleased with that. So there is my 2 for Tuesday using number 10 of Uniko's top 25 of 2025. So thank you for joining me today and bearing with me as I've made these clean and simple looking cards, but as you can see, even though it's clean and simple, sometimes they take a little bit longer, and just as long as something where you'd add various layers and colours and things. So I believe this set is still in stock. There are a couple, which is surprising as it usually sells out pretty quick. So if you've been umming and ahhing, I wouldn't hang about too long. I try and restock things as quick as I can, but obviously with the Christmas and New Year break, there won't be any restocks coming. So yeah, thank you for joining me, and I'll be back again soon with more to share. Bye for now.